Hi, it's Caleb Leverett. I'm in San Antonio again. This is the second time in just over a week I've had to make an emergency trip to San Antonio. Blaine called me today a couple times, and he I don't know exactly what happened, but Blaine's, I assume, somewhat engaged in civil disobedience. The cops took, or somebody took, I'm getting my days and nights mixed up. Somebody took his phone away from him again. I think it was more cops this morning. I'd have to go back and look. There was apparently a struggle at his house, his mother's house, and Blaine would not move because he was protesting his phone being taken away. And according to Blaine, Jason May, his stepdad, again assaulted Blaine and wound up picking him up somehow and sideways. And he said he told me he squeezed him so hard his back was hurting. And I'd already talked to Blaine just a few minutes before that, and he said, he sounded normal, just normal up. And then when he called me the second time, he was seeing if I could use the Find Your Phone app or whatever. And I said, "Well, you sound different. What's the matter?" He goes, "Well, I'm having trouble." I said, "You sound like shit, son. You're having trouble breathing?" He goes, "Well, and walking." And he told me the story. And he said all of a sudden Jason knew. He goes, he felt bad. He screwed up. And he's actually helping me find the phone while Mom's gone. And I'm 375 miles away, and I don't know what to do. So I try to call San Antonio Emergency Services, and every time I do, I get some dead end line. So I wound up having to call the San Antonio Police Department and ask for an ambulance to go get my son. I wound up telling Blaine, he grabbed the landline, and after about 20 minutes of me making the call for an ambulance to come check out my son, because he didn't want to go to a hospital because he just got out of what he knows of as hospital, and it's a mental nut house. And I said, "Son, you're going to be fine. That is the safest place out of all these people. I've been to these hospitals. There's some nice hospitals." And after that, I started packing my stuff and driving 5 hours here to San Antonio. And Blaine was not picked up by an ambulance. Blaine was picked up by more cops. I've got a source, and I cannot reveal her name, that said it was cops that picked him up, put him in the cop car, and taken to a mental hospital. I don't think it's Nick's. She didn't think it was Nick's, but it's not a regular hospital. San Antonio has good hospitals. I've been in them. Blaine was in them just a few months ago. He broke his collarbone, got a plate put in there. Wonderful, loving, caring, genuinely caring doctors and nurses. Very sweet. And what does San Antonio Police Department do? Instead of arresting the bastard that will not stop assaulting my son, Jason May, they arrest my son. And I appreciated everybody's advice. There's no way I'm going to call the San Antonio Police Department to get them to help me, because they've proven to me they are not interested in helping me and my son. My son is the most nonviolent person you'll ever meet, except for maybe his own little sister, London. I don't know what else to do. People wonder why I make all this stuff public. I fought all this private for years, and I lost every single time. Both money, time with my kids, my own liberty for 60 days when they put me in jail. The cops don't do anything about it. The CPS doesn't. I've called CPS in the past. They don't do anything about it. Nobody does anything. And all I know to do is I need some really big voices in the world to pick up on our story. All day long we've been trying to hashtag Dr. Phil and Dr. Ron Paul, and Steve Harvey even came up. I don't care who it is, whoever gets a hold of this. And I see why these big names are careful about where they throw their weight. They don't know me. Just to give anybody who might watch this, my name is Caleb Leverett. I go by the hashtag or whatever, the nickname Notorious Dad. I was given that nickname in jail while I served 60 days for literally for being a good dad, civil contempt of civil court. All the inmates asked me, why are you in? What are you in for? And I said, for being a good dad, and they laughed at me. They didn't believe me. Well, the guards wound up watching my video content, and it got back to all the inmates, and they said, like, this guy's legit, no shit. He does not deserve to be here. And so by the end of my 60 days in the Ector County Jail, that was the nickname they gave me, Notorious Dad, and it just kind of stuck. I've got to ask a favor. Thank you all so much for what you've done so far, raising awareness. These big names, I don't see how they're ever going to, they don't know me. If I've ever helped you in any capacity, talked to you on the phone, sent you money, showed up in person, helped you move, anything, if I've ever done anything for you, please consider writing your story on Facebook, tag me in it, just so people will know I'm not a bad guy. I'm not a perfect person. I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm going broke. Every day I'm not in Odessa. I'm self-employed. I don't have any employees. If I work, I have money coming in. If I don't work, I don't have money coming in. Simple economics. I stayed 5 days last week out of the blue. Well, I wasn't even supposed to be here that early. Now I'm back down here again. This isn't even my weekend, and I'm at a loss. I told my son that he would be fine and that the ambulance was going to come get him, and I feel like I know he doesn't believe that, but I feel like I let him down. Shame on San Antonio Police Department. Shame on Candace May. Shame on Jason May. This is ridiculous. My son, I called for help, and he is treated like he's the bad guy. My son is a victim, and Jason May, nothing happens to him. That's the only call to action. I don't even know where he's at. I've texted his mother several times. I finally just told her burn in hell, demanding I tell me where my son is. When I do find out, I will obviously let people know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to keep him another 5 days like they did last time. Bless you all. Thank you all for everything you've done. I'm Kristen, Megan, and I can't even start naming names. There's so many of you, and some of them I can't name because they're currently pulling some strings in some really high places. And that being said, I mean government places, and I'll be the first to say everybody knows I'm critical of governments, especially the ones that have personally affected me. The first layer of government that comes in and stops this crap and gives me back my son, you have my word, I will never say a word ever about your department or whatever ever again. I'll have nothing but praise. Peace to you all. I love you all. Peace. Thanks so much.